It's time. Hi there, my name is Phixfox and welcome to Phixfox Shoutcasts. This is the series where you take the time to play FHeroes2, you record that video, you send it to me, and then I get the chance to watch it, to provide some feedback and commentary, and ultimately, I get to hype you up. And today is going to be a submission from none other than the French YouTuber and Twitch star. That will be Winnymaru. Winnymaru is one of my favorite people in this sphere because he is very good at strategy, and Heroes of Might and Magic has an awful lot of strategy. So I'm very excited to learn a few things myself. I'm excited to see the way that he approaches a medium-sized map where he is allied with one other player against some enemy, some massive looming force off in the distance. This will be Carmine. With that being said, folks, let's just dive right in as I fill you in just a little bit on what we can expect out of Carmine. So there he is in the bottom left. He is saluting us and letting us know that he is going to be playing on impossible difficulty on this 3-player map. This is a time where we are going to be allied. Our brother is under attack. So we are going to be 2 knights against 1 necromancer. We are blue and our ally is going to be green. And this indicates to us that we are to go forth and rescue our brother. And I'm hoping that we are very successful very, very quickly. Looks like we start off with 2 castles, one in the bottom left, one in the bottom center position. Call it the 5 o'clock position for the one castle and the 7 o'clock position for the other. There's a prison next to the bottom castle. There is crystal nearby, which is lovely because we have 2 knight castles. Knights, of course, require plenty of crystal to get the cathedral in order to get yourselves the paladins and the crusaders. And anytime that you are up against the undead, the necromancers, if you can use the crusaders who have the double damage bonus against the undead, you're going to be feeling pretty okay. This is the green player. This is our ally. They're in the upper right position. Well, let's call it the 2 o'clock position. And it's going to be their job, it looks like, to clear out a gold mine and some other basic resources for us. We are going to start off with the hero Tyro. It's going to be 1 single peasant accompanying him to go and pick up crystal and mercury. And now, of course, because we are on impossible difficulty, there's no other purchases that we can make at this time. I'm excited to see if we choose the gold or the experience. It looks like Winnymaru is absolutely deciding to choose the gold here, a critically important decision when it comes down to an impossible difficulty map. Resources are so scarce that you have to be very certain about what is going to be the best decision for you. And he's got a decision here. He's got 1 hero in the bottom left, and now here in the middle castle, it looks like he is deciding between Vitania the Sorceress or Hector the Knight. And it looks like we are going to see Vitania the Sorceress come out. He is offloading the dwarves, so that way potentially she can move just a little bit faster. There is that prison there. Are we going to make a stop by these mines, or are we going to go straight to the prison? It looks like either way, we're going to have to get the prison on day 2. In my opinion, you might as well get the sulfur while you can. That's going to be +1 sulfur than you otherwise would have had. And so we're off to a fairly fast start here, it would seem. It seems like a good idea to me to either get your well now or to get your archery range. It is going to be the well that pops up in both of our castles, an excellent choice. And note that Tyro did decide to go to the bottom left into that obelisk. And that is a long-term decision. Who knows when you're going to be able to come back for that obelisk at a later date. And so you might as well pick it up now while you can. It looks like Winnymaru is indicating some mountain ranges. It looks like he is indicating some roads. And that road is going to transverse at least 2 different biomes. It looks like snow being one of those. There's plenty of mercury and plenty of crystal here on the ground. I am guessing that the ultimate artifact is probably going to be closer to our green ally. Will we stop by this ore mine on our way to the prison? We shall. That's going to be 2 additional ore per day. And I'm very excited to see who is in this prison. Of course, the prison is holding a hero that is now under our control. This is going to be Ambrose the Knight. He's going to be a level 8 knight. 5 attack, 5 defense, 1 spell power, and 2 knowledge. And look at this. For some reason, I think that Winnymaru is a little... I think he's recognizing that the eagle eye is not that good. I would agree with that. I think that there's lots of things we would rather have than the eagle eye. But the pathfinding, the logistics, the luck, the scouting, this is a really wonderful pickup for us. So a level 8 hero who not only starts off with plenty of nice secondary skills, but also has some quality troops to back that up. That's going to be 5 of the paladins, 2 of the crusaders, 9 of the swordsmen, and you throw in a couple of those sprites with Vitania, and all of a sudden you can potentially take some long-range fights that you otherwise wouldn't. Think things like elves or orcs, maybe some losses are going to be stopped just because of those 14 sprites that are in the army. We are traveling up along the road. We do see a gold mine. That's going to be a lovely pickup. I see another ore mine to our immediate west of Ambrose. And then gems, some swampy terrain. This is a beautiful and interesting map. Very, very much varied in the way, very rarely do you see in more or less a 9x9 square swamp, snow, and cracked earth. And so a map designer did a good job in making sure that this was an interesting map to look at. As Sarakin the Wizard comes on the board, I think that this is actually two very wonderful pickups for Winnymaru, getting lucky with Vitania and then a wizard who has boars. The boars, of course, being a 6-speed creature, those are going to be the fastest troops that you can scout with from a starting hero. Them and gargoyles for the warlock, so Sarakin with the boars is doing just fine. And then he does leave all of the slower halflings behind and even 2 boars, maybe so Tyro can go and pick up 2 6-speed boars for his own purposes. Green, our ally, has 2 heroes. They are roaming the map as quickly as they can, while it looks like we are using our 4 heroes at this time to expand fairly quickly. I think that with 4 heroes on a medium-sized map, there's a lot of opportunity you give yourself. If you're only running 1 or 2 heroes, you run into the possibility that you will make a mistake. And how do I mean? I mean that if you're unable to effectively scout your starting area, you might not know what the best opportunities are. Winnymaru is giving himself a wonderful chance and a wonderful opportunity to see the map in its fullness and then make some quality decisions moving forward. I'm not sure if he has or has not played this map before, but even if you have played a map like this before, having this medium-sized map on a possible difficulty, it will present some very unique challenges. It looks like Ambrose is considering going off-roading into the swamp just a step or 2, and then to the northeast into the snowy terrain. What will we find in the north? I cannot say. I am guessing that we have our enemy, the Red Necromancer, somewhere in the 11 or 10 o'clock position on the map as we are continuing to pick up gold and pick up some free resources. And so it may be worth it to consider your scouting patterns. Your green allies from the northeast are going to come towards the center of the map and more towards the west as we get our archery range. And so it might make sense to try and send 1 hero into the northwest as quickly as you possibly can, because of course in Heroes of Might and Magic 2, any amount of scouting that you do will last with you for the entire rest of the game, knowing that there is no cover of darkness or anything like that. Nothing can dispel your scouted areas. And so it might be worth it to spend the 2,500 gold and plan on losing a hero just simply for the investment. Whether that will be the decision or not, tough to say. Winnymaru stroking his chin, thinking to himself, Thundax the Barbarian. Gold is a little bit shy at the moment, but is he going to consider picking up his 6th hero? He just picked up Ector, and it looks like it is. It's going to be Thundax. I love this start. Folks, you might convince yourself, well, on a small or a medium-sized map, I don't need that many heroes. Winnymaru, I think, is making a very conscious decision. He is saying to himself, look, there are a lot of advantages I can get on this map, and any amount of gold I spend on heroes will inevitably come back to me in some way, shape, or form as we pick up freebies, extra gold, extra resources, extra mines. And so it's always a good investment to get resources where you can. We do see the Golden Bow artifact. That is a nice looking pickup for Thundax the Barbarian. You put that Golden Bow along with some friends of yours, some of those archers, some of those rangers, and that can go very, very well for you. That looks to have been the View Heroes spell in that 3rd level Mage Guild. That makes Vitania, I think, quite a bit intriguing. Will you bring Vitania, who starts off with the basic wisdom, will you bring her back to that 3rd level shrine? It could be worthwhile just to keep track of the enemy red heroes' movements, and so you can wander into the desert quite freely. You can wander into their territory without fear of being surprised. We do see massive piles of resources, and yet I've got to tell you that as Sarakin heads north along the road, it's always a good decision to travel by road. Of course, it is only 75% of the total movement cost that you would normally have over grass, and especially that's much cheaper when you consider cracked earth, and generally roads lead somewhere wonderful. If you don't know what to do with your turn or where to go, it's never a bad idea to simply travel up the roads. Now, we are the blue player. We have the strongest army at this current juncture. We do have the least amount of income. Even our ally green is doing better than us. Everybody has the same number of towns. We are second with the number of castles. So it looks like we have 2 castles, our ally green has 1 castle, and then our enemy has 3 or more castles. That is fairly concerning for us. They do have Darlena as their primary hero. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. By the way, it's currently month 1, week 1, day 5. We have about 3,500 gold. We do not have one of each precious resource producing mine just yet. I think that we are still missing the mercury, but precious resources are not nearly so important unless you are planning on going for some mage guilds sooner rather than later. And knowing that we start off with Ambrose, and knowing that he probably will not spec into the wisdom too well, I think it makes sense. There, Winnymaru is giving us a look. It seems to me that we are going to have some time before spells will be of critical importance. He's weighing his options here, Winnymaru is. He's saying, well, look, I've got one of each mine minus a sawmill. He says, I need a sawmill still. But the Knight faction thrives off of wood. You have the cathedral, which costs 10 wood. You have the training grounds, which costs 20 wood, not to mention your master swordsmen that cost wood. A little bit of ore goes onto your pikemen and such. And we do see for the first time a red hero here in the snowy north. That's going to be Rialdo. Rialdo does not look to have much of an army. Ambrose can reach him. He could attack. And it looks like Winnymaru is saying, no, I will wait for now. I will let him get away. But we do see even better than fighting an enemy hero, there is always taking an enemy castle. A week 1 enemy castle. This is a wonderful opportunity. Even if all you do is weaken your enemy by a little bit. This castle represents what? It represents a certain amount of skeletons, a certain amount of zombies and mummies and maybe vampires, maybe liches, maybe bone dragons. It represents some forces that the enemy can pick up every single week, and every single day it is worth 1,000 gold. If you're able to take even a few of these castles, Heroes of Might and Magic 2 is something of a tug-of-war game where there are very small margins that lead to these victories, and you will know that you are on the right path to victory if you are taking enemy castles from your foes. It does look, by the way, as if there is some water in this map. In the bottom right, there are some sea chests out there. I don't know how much boats are going to play into this scenario, whether or not it'll be a little bit valuable or very valuable. For now, it looks like we have plenty to focus on here in the water, or on the land. There's much to be done here. Another gold mine is very, very useful. Even though a lot of these buildings for the knights are fairly cheap, it's worth noting that we have to be pretty cautious about our gold costs, especially if we're going to get to paladins and then maybe want to upgrade crusaders later, things like that. We do pick up the golden bow. By the way, I think that was an excellent choice from Winnymaru. He split his goblins there on Thundax specifically because he was worried about the possibility of rogues jumping out from under the bush. And if they do that, of course, you could lose Thundax, one of your 6 heroes. That's a good cautionary type of maneuver there. It's not going to be necessary all the time, but when it is, you're going to be very, very thankful that you made that choice. And so therefore it is a good manner of practice. By the way, as we pick up 2 gems and we look at picking up an archer's hut and some more ore and some sulfur, there is a warlock town, not a castle, but a warlock town. It might be worthwhile to send yourself right into that warlock town and upgrade that town to a castle and then focus on dragons, more so even than getting your cathedrals and such. It might be. The value of the 6th level creatures, of course, in Heroes 2 are all very, very different. The warlocks have the dragons, which are so much more powerful than the crusaders. They're in the same basic category as titans, and below that you have things like the bone dragons, you have things like the phoenixes, and then below all of that you have crusaders and cyclopes. Maybe it's time to trade up. It'll be a long time before you can get an awful lot out of that warlock town, but if you invest in it, if you treat it like a plant and you try and make it grow, that could pay off some dividends for you. We do pick up a spell book for Ambrose, and it looked like the spells were okay. With 3 spell power and 2 knowledge, I think that Ambrose is going to have a good opportunity to prevent some of the major disabling spells from coming his way. It looks like he is eyeing those Cyclopes. He might like to join up his forces by combining forces along the main road. Anytime there's a monster standing on the road, it effectively kills that logistical advantage that you might have otherwise had. And with 6 heroes, it could be an investment in the future should you take care of whatever robbers are standing along on the main road. That is the Defender's Helm for the +1 that we just found there in that treasure chest. We are picking up the Forge for the pikemen and the archery range for the archers. Oh, but we are laboring over this decision. This is not a decision that Winnymaru is taking lightly. He is thinking about this. He has moused over the ore mines several times. Have you noticed? He has used his cursor to circle and indicate to us that he's doing something here. He is aware that his resources are very, very low. He currently only had 1 ore at the end of his previous turn just now. I think that he's recognizing that ore is going to be a little bit of a problem. Whether he is focusing on the knight castles or whether he does focus on the town that is currently the Warlocks, it's going to be pretty useful for him. We do see our friend, it looks like Sir Gallant is the green knight that is heading from the northeast and he is heading south. That's always a little bit of a problem, as we've seen in some other playthroughs in FHeroes2. Your allies can take your mines, they can flag your castles that were your enemies. They will not steal things directly from you, but by taking a castle or by taking a mine, they will prevent you from taking it yourself. You cannot simply steal a mine from your ally and reflag it as your own. And that is, again, one of the additions with the FHeroes2 game. I do believe that that is currently what Winnymaru is playing on here. By the way, we just had a new patch 2 days ago. It's currently September 16th, 2024. I think it was yesterday or the day before. We just had a brand new patch. Go and check that out if you have not yet downloaded the new FHeroes patch. It's always a good time. Check that out. We are going to pick up the armory. So the Castle of Lombard is doing very, very well for itself. We are up to the swordsman. Yep. And I've got to say, we still don't have many troops. Truly, there's not that many forces here. Granted, it is only month 1, week 1, day 7, but there has been a bit of a struggle trying to get all these resources. Did we not flag that gem mine? I think Winnymaru might have missed flagging that gem mine. I did not see a mine there amongst the cracked earth. Perhaps I missed it, but that looked a little strange. We're going to take the experience there, and that was an excellent choice. Winnymaru, of course, using the FHeroes2 boxes there to indicate, oh, I am less than 500 experience away from a new level. On my primary hero, I might as well. And that translated into the advanced logistics. An extra 10% movement per day is never a bad thing. Ooh, I see your face there, Winnymaru. He goes, ooh, I see a genie lamp. And we see just the tip of a boat. Yes, you are right. I see it too, sir. That is just the tip of a boat. The water may play a bigger role in this map than I might have earlier thought. And so that's going to bring us to the very end of the first week. By the way, I do not know, as we are watching our ally and seeing Red do some things, I don't know how exactly it works with an ally and sharing obelisks. I feel like we do share obelisks, and yet, I can't tell you if that very first obelisk we took in our bottom left corner, if it combined with the obelisk that our enemy, or rather our friend, took in the upper right. We have the opportunity to land. It's going to take us 2 days to just hop in the boat, sail around, land, and then pick up the genies, sail back and go and forth. It takes a few days, but time is only a barrier at this point, and maybe less so of a barrier than, say, a mountain range or such. We are picking up the pikemen in Lombard. We are focusing primarily on our bottom middle castle, that castle that's more or less in the 6 to 5 o'clock position. Are we looking at purchasing another hero? We're down to 9,600 gold because we do pick up Dimitri the Knight, a level 1 knight. We have just a few forces here. What is the plan, sir? Winnymaru showing excellent control, demonstrating an excellent grasp on what it takes to effectively cover this map. And plenty of troops here, he's noticing. But what is the plan? Is Dimitri going to lead some sort of offensive? We have seen ghosts in the swamp there to the west of that castle. They are guarding an ore mine. Perhaps we're going to take the swordsman and go in that direction. That's not a fight that I would personally love. We do see another ghost-guarded mine there in the bottom right, but this one is a haunted mine instead of just having ghost defenders on it. What is your priority? 7,100 gold on day 1 of week 2. What is the priority? Thundax, it looks like, is going to be the primary hero here. And anytime you've seen that, that's the second time we've seen in this scenario that we've dismissed a peasant. That's always a very, very good decision because the 2-speed peasants, it is essentially 20 gold worth of peasants. It doesn't hurt my heart too bad to lose those gentlemen. It is going to be a hero chain. That was a 3-hero chain. We went from, I believe, Dimitri to Thundax, and then Thundax to Vitania, Vitania to Ambrose. And so that's a nice use of the hero chain. Those troops moved much further than they otherwise would have. That's an additional 10 swordsmen as we are going probably into a very contested land in the center. Are we going to stop for these zombies? You certainly have the force to do it, but sometimes it is worth not going out of your way onto the swamp when you know that your pathfinding is good, but not great. 5 of the mutant zombies, and then call it 21 of the regular zombies. There's a chance that we can use the terrain here to great effect. It looks like there is a break in the trees. Yeah, looks like there's a break in the tree line there. And so only one set of creatures is going to be able to get through, and the rest are going to have to go the long way around. This is a nice little gap here. Yep, Winnymaru spots it, and he finds a way to exploit his enemy's weakness here. Oh, and very interesting, the enemies actually cost themselves a little bit more time, I would say. And the reason I would say that is because the mutant zombies wanted to stay together as a pack. They wanted to stay with the zombies. And by not getting too far ahead and not having any of the other forces lag too far behind, then you're able to do a better job in swarming your enemies. That's what the computer is thinking, more or less. And I think that that's another example of a great addition with the FHeroes2 project of the AI logic. And so, very excited to see that working as intended. Winnymaru, by the way, has indicated, I believe, that it will be Vitania who's going to go and pick up those resources. Again, a very good use of your secondary heroes. That's why you have them. And it's going to be an 8th hero. Folks, in 2 weeks, Winnymaru on this medium-sized map has done a marvelous thing, and that is that he has picked up his 8th hero. That is very impressive. And really, part of the reason why I think that is so impressive is because that means you've had such a significant investment in gold. Think about how much gold that is. That's 2,500 gold, essentially times 6. You started off with 1 hero, you picked 1 up from the prison, and then you purchased 6 other heroes. That is so much gold. That's 150, that's 15,000 gold. That's a lot of gold. That's 15,000 gold you could have spent on something else, and he chose not to, and I don't think that that was a bad decision. We are keeping track, it looks like, of the red activity in the center. I would be very interested to see what the Oracle would say about our enemies now. It's a 1v2 map. I would assume that our red necromancer friends, I call them friends, I wouldn't really ever invite them to my birthday party. I would think that the red necromancers had to start off with some pretty significant advantages, as we see Winnymaru doing the single step technique, so that way he can make sure that he is traveling exactly where he ought to. We do see a little castle there in the bottom right. Yep, I see that. And potentially a sawmill behind that wood. But if the red necromancers... Oh! Wow, that's awesome! Yeah, look at that smile. He is excited for this. Oh my goodness. If the red necromancers have any advantages, it has to be in castles or mage guilds in this case. Chain lightning and the mass cure, not to mention some really nice necromancy troops. Any amount of dwellings that the enemies have purchased in this castle have all been a waste. You can get your 5th level mage guild if you want, but the problem is that you do not have Yes, Winnymaru, I see it. You do not have the wisdom. I think that that's just what he was checking, so he can only get up to the second level spells. That's what he's indicating to us at this time. So what you see is what you get, and it makes you wonder, ought I pull up Vitania very quickly? Should I get Sarakin up there? Sarakin the Wizard is an interesting choice here over Vesper the Warlock, because the Warlocks start off with basic wisdom, so up to the third level spells. You already have Sarakin the Wizard. Wizards start off with advanced wisdom, therefore they can immediately cast those fourth level spells. So what's the choice? What's the decision? Do you forego any spells at all, more or less? Do you forego spells and keep your level 8 hero that's might based, or do you maybe switch? Do you change gears? Do you have a new primary hero and build a magic user up from scratch? There's many things you could do. I think that maybe the best thing that we could do is still use Ambrose very, very effectively, but also get a secondary hero who can use those spells, and then with a 2-hero approach, 1 might hero and 1 magic hero, then kind of scale through this map and take whatever holdings the red necromancers will give you. Winnymaru is in an excellent position here. Let's recap so far. He has taken 2 of the necromancy castles. He has defeated at least 1 of the necromancy heroes. Has he? No, I don't think we ever actually did get our hands on Rialdo, but I think that that's coming up very, very quickly. And as Winnymaru is noting, we are not too far away from first our training grounds and then our cathedral. And so he's still thinking, I believe, how can I move forward best? Maybe I ignore that Warlock castle, that Warlock town in the bottom left. Maybe I just stick with these forces now. Maybe he is trying to go for something of a lightning attack. He is not going to take the time to slowly build up his forces. Instead, it may just be that Winnymaru will move forward and try and strike a decisive blow in the first few weeks. Another excellent use of the hero chaining here. It looks like Vitania is going to be able to bring up, it looks like 48 of these rangers very, very quickly. Yes, Thundax is going to carry the troops most of the way. And then I do anticipate that we're going to see Vitania take just a step back in order to help get these troops here. Was that closed formation? Does someone other than Phixfox use closed formation? Aha, I see. We are making sure that this red enemy does not catch us unawares. Once again, a very good job of being smart. We've already mentioned once that Winnymaru made sure that his troops were ideally positioned in the event that rogues hopped out of a bush to defend a artifact. We have now just seen Winnymaru being very conscientious and very smart with his troop placement here. Those secondary and tertiary heroes bringing troops to the front can sometimes be a weakness. They can be an opportunity for the enemy to cut your supply lines and to really take your legs out from under you. So again, very, very nice to see Winnymaru being smart, being careful, being capable, and being cautious. I do not believe that we're going to be seeing any kind of reloads here. I don't think that he plans on doing any kind of reloads here. I've never really known him to, but I think that he sure could. The point I'm making here is this, is that if you are going to try and do any kind of scenario or campaign as a one-shot, you have to play differently than if you're going to rely on falling back into some other opportunities. Winnymaru giving us the fingers up. He understands that 3 genies are a pretty big opportunity for him, and it looks like rather than continue to sail along the coast, it looks like he is indicating that that hero in the boat with those 3 genies is going to land safely in his secured terrain and then maybe move up, maybe along the road, and maybe do something of a pincer attack. We do pick up the swordsman in our secondary castle. Not just in Lombard do we have the castles, but we also do have it in Cathcart now. Not looking to upgrade at this time, not looking to upgrade either of the 2 necromancy castles. We have barely looked at those since we have taken them. And even if all you do is use them as gold mines and keep them away from the enemy, that's not bad. That is not bad. Still plenty of freebies here. There's sulfur mines, there's free resources, there's artifacts. Sometimes you don't always want the artifacts when it comes to a treasure chest, right? Sometimes you would rather have 1,500 gold than +1 defense. At this point in the game, I think that the +1 defense is fine, but it can mess with your plans when your primary hero is almost or nearly full of artifacts. In Heroes Might and Magic 2, of course, you have to be very, very choosy with which artifacts you take with your hero, and if you attack an enemy and you do not have slots to receive any of the artifacts that you would otherwise take from your defeated foe, then you just simply lose those artifacts. They stay with the hero until they are rehired at the tavern to serve their next lord and liege. And so, +1 defense or 1,500 gold, you decide. Which is really, truly the best? It depends. The point is as many people have pointed out in several instances of Phixfox's theorizing about Heroes of Might and Magic 2 strategy and meta, that it, of course, always depends on the situation at hand. We are going to eliminate Dimitri. Does that mean that we are going to purchase Vesper in that Necromancy Castle and give him access to Chain Lightning? Oh, I think so. We are just shy on gold. Is he going to trade? He is going to trade. I like that decision. I would have absolutely traded as well. At that point, you're not going to let a measly 100 gold stop you from getting a hero with Chain Lightning. Maybe you are the only hero on this map that will ever get Chain Lightning. It could possibly be. It depends on how quickly this map goes. We have a little bit of an issue here. While it's not a problem for the knights to mix troops like this, I think you definitely don't want Vesper to mix troops like this. He has the centaurs of the warlock faction, the swordsmen and the paladins of the knight faction, and then also you do have a couple of those sprites that is going to put a hit on your morale with the, looks like the advanced leadership. No, basic leadership. Then Ambrose is going to do much better with those troops, but still, just something to keep in mind at this point. The value of the morale is very, very high. Ambrose, I think, is going to defeat Rialdo, and he will. Certainly he will. Now, losing one Crusader here, I'm wondering if we're going to see an offensive spell come out from Rialdo. 3 attack, 0 defense, 2 spell power, 2 knowledge. Our hero Ambrose, I know it has 5 attack, 5 defense. I think it was 3 spell power and 2 knowledge. And so plenty of spells. When you simply look at a battle without spells, you say to yourself, well, well, there's no spells, and so it's might on might, it's normal logistics, and have at it, do the very best you can. But as soon as you throw in spells, there's a certain wrinkle into this game that is present that you simply cannot get away from. Spells add an extra layer of complexity. It's like the difference between chess and 4D chess. And so now, as you can see, Rialdo was playing some 4D chess there as he used his 1 Chain Lightning this battle, and he caused some major issues there. I do believe that Rialdo is now going to be out of spells. The Chain Lightning is very expensive, and then that was 3 more spell points with the Magic Arrow. So I don't think that there's going to be any more spells, and yet are we going to be able to keep this enemy hero from running? We don't want to see Rialdo again. Again, he has the Chain Lightning. If he is able to get more troops behind him, if he is able to resupply, maybe pick up some additional knowledge, that will never feel good. We have an opportunity to kill the 5 orcs here, and then the 5 paladins are going to get to go without any problem. The enemy should have run, they could have run, they didn't, and now they're dead. Well, they're necromancers, so they were already dead. They're double dead. They are triple dead. They are so far gone, they don't even know which way is up. They have an inkling that maybe they should have run, but they're so dead that they're not even sure what hit them. So Winnymaru doing a great job there on the battlefield. I have no advice that I can give him as far as how he could improve on that fight. He played that fight pretty perfectly. The only thing that anybody is sad about is that he did have to eat that 1 Chain Lightning, but I don't think that there's anything that he could have done about that. Couple of opportunities. I would love to see Winnymaru pick up some of these troops over here, maybe even these peasants, and take them west. There are lots of greater druids that are guarding a gold mine. I think that an additional 1,000 gold per day would be wonderful. We have a major problem. We do have a red hero. It's going to be Zam. Zam is not a major problem. I said he was a major problem. I've changed my tune. Zam is a scout, but any amount of scouting that the enemy does on us does mean that they could see us in advance. They could run from us. They could run towards us. And unfortunately, we are just one step away. I wonder if we are going to use that secondary hero there to meet up with our primary hero of Ambrose to take the troops and then quickly defeat Zam. The likelihood that Zam also has chain lightning and can cause some major damage to us, I think is highly unlikely. It's possible, but we could have potentially had Ambrose go all the way up the road and then brought over the troops for Tyro to then just deal with Zam and then get back up on our way. This works just as fine, I do believe. Zam, if it was me, would be sent up the road to scout as far as he could, but if he does that, no matter what happens, he will be going down very, very soon. 3 genies is way too much for him to handle. Let's take just a quick pause here, and let me just show you a little bit about the adventure map here. Now, what I'm seeing here is this. We've got, again, our ally is here in the upper right corner, and they have been slowly just kind of pushing in this direction. They are making a lot of pressure and actually doing a very good job of scouting for us. We would not have seen our red enemy's castle here in the middle of the desert. This has all been due to our ally. And so they've been a very, very valuable ally in that regard. I cannot be sad about the job that they've done. It looks like they've done a good job in securing, you know, mines and extra little things along the way. And very nice of them to not have pushed so far south that we are stepping on each other. I think that we would like to see our green ally maybe push a little bit more into this area just to explore, make sure that there's no red heroes skulking about, and then we could potentially use our pressure to push up this main road right here. Now, it looks like as far as roads go, there's one road here. I'm wondering if there is one more red castle, maybe somewhere right in this black area here, or maybe right here. But regardless, wherever that is, it's going to be one road here and then probably one road there. I'm guessing it'll split off at least one more time to some sort of pay dirt from our necromancy allies over there. And so effectively what we're seeing here is that the map is getting very, very small. The level of map control that Winnymaru and his ally have is at this point much greater, much greater than the map control of our enemies over here. It's not much as far as the difference goes when we don't know what they have in this terrain. It could be nothing, it could be a lot, but the idea is that the less map control that they have, that means that there's going to be less mines, that means that there's going to be less towns, less castles. And again, I would love to see the oracle just so that way we could know exactly where does the castle ratio sit, because if you are able to have more castles and more growth in your enemy, you're gonna do pretty darn good. And so things are looking pretty good on the map for Winnymaru at this time. Now, at this point, I'm just taking a look here, and I'm wondering what his next step is. What are his thoughts here? He's got some rangers, he's got some spells, he's got some strength. We have not yet seen a major red hero. We have seen scouts, but we have seen couriers. Have we seen a very strong, powerful hero? Not yet. There is Darlena. Darlena was at one point Red's strongest hero. Are they still? Are they now? I'm sorry, Winnymaru. I'm hoping not. I want to see him be very victorious and crush his enemies and do so very well. But I also kind of hope that Red has a trick up their sleeve, because right now, as I've kind of pointed out, it feels like Winnymaru feels like he has got such a great, tremendous push on this map that he is exerting his will over his enemies. We do see a couple of things here. This is very nifty. Okay, so I'm guessing that is swamp. I'm guessing that is snow, and it looks like in the right-hand side, right in the very middle, looks like that's just the edge of a graveyard. If we can find a graveyard anywhere on this map, I'm guessing that the ultimate artifact will not be too far from that. I am assuming that it is up. I think that this is the wrong snow patch. Yeah, right there. Unless that's a castle. No. I think that is. Is it? Oh, I don't see it over here. Maybe there's one more patch of snow, because I'm really thinking that is, unless my eyes are cheated by some spell, it looks like that is a graveyard. Aha, there it is. Does he see it? There we go. Aha, yes. Yes. Winnymaru and I agree. There are so many wonderful little, nooks and crannies. There are some very interesting trees. This is the spot. And as we've mentioned, we just talked about map control, and there's so much map control that is currently in Winnymaru's favor. And so then when you're looking for this ultimate artifact, you don't have to worry about digging in the enemy's territory. You have secured this area more or less. And if you start digging, that could be a plus 12 to your attack, 12 to your defense, 12 to your spell power, knowledge, or some mix of all of that. I think that with 8 heroes on the map, it's probably not a bad idea to send some diggers up to the north. People that have some sweat on their brow and some very strong backs that can move an awful lot of earth. Of course, you do not need to know exactly where X marks the spot. Vitania is going to be dismissed at this time, so that way she can make room for another person that can dig. We are picking up the rangers there instead of just the archers. Are we going to hire a hero here so we can bring them to the front? It looks like so, and that's a good decision. As much as you might want to start digging now, it makes even more sense to send troops up to the front. But oh wait, no, we only have 72 gold. Folks, we are out of gold. We probably have at least 3 marketplaces. And so we're going to trade for another 1,400 gold, getting rid of lots of our sulfur. By getting rid of the sulfur, that makes me believe that we are less likely to see any amount of dragon activity from that town in the bottom right. I think if it was me, I would forego that opportunity and I would just try and win right now. Strike some decisive blows while things are feeling good, because hey, to this point, have we seen a really tough red hero? We have not. And so I submit to you that the best decision is probably to move forward and try and win while you can. Zam is not going to get too far up that road. He will be met with the firepower of Natasha, 21 rangers, 3 of the swordsmen, and 2 boars. No spells other than the bless spell for Natasha, which all sorceresses start with. But then, of course, genies are not too far away. So we will see what Zam does here. And I really like, by the way, I was worried that we would see, I believe it was Ector, maybe Sarakin, whoever's in that boat who just picked up those genies, as we see that it's only 1 spell power for Ambrose. I was worried that we would see them land, and I kind of felt like that would have been a mistake. It seems like there's a lot of opportunities in the water. I love that we were able to get a secondary hero over there to relieve the genies from that other hero. Tyro now has the genies, and then I believe it is Sarakin who is free to set sail on the big blue wet thing, aka the ocean. Maybe it's not an ocean, maybe it's more of a lake, maybe it's more of a delta, maybe it's more of a tributary, maybe it's more of just some amount of water. Whatever it is, you are free to sail to your heart's content. And so, do so with my blessing. It looks like it is going to be... Which hero is this? Oh, it is Sarakin. Yes, okay, perfect. So Sarakin's going to pick up, it looks like, 1,500 gold for his troubles. There is a whirlpool there. The 1 boar is not going to dive headlong into the sea. We are simply going to raft him, tie him down, and make sure that he cannot possibly go overboard. Meanwhile, Ambrose will be picking up, it looks like, 1,000 extra experience as soon as he feels so inclined. Can we reach all the way for a nice hero chain? It looks like just about. Not quite. And these things do happen. Winnymaru shaking his head in the slightest bit of frustration. I think that anyone who's played Heroes of Might and Magic who has a wonderful plan in mind, they understand that feeling of slight frustration. It's not going to ruin your day. It's not going to throw the game for you, but you would prefer to have as big of an army as possible before you potentially go into this fight as you pick up either the advanced archery or the advanced leadership, in this case the archery, before you potentially fight a necromancer who could have chain lightning. We have only found 1 4th level mage guild. There could be more on the map. And so even maybe picking up these sprites, this tree city is pretty interesting. If you defeat the sprites, or if you take the sprites and defeat the fire elementals, You then immediately unlock the ability to pick up some Medusa right after. And sprites and Medusa together is probably the best combination of neutral creatures you could get. You could probably argue that halflings or centaurs would also make a lot of sense because of their ranged capabilities, but in general, you have this 2-hex ground unit with the ability to petrify paired with this flying fragile unit that can avoid retaliations. It actually works out pretty well. There is going to be the death ripple there. Wow. That was a big bit of damage. It doesn't bring down a Crusader. It doesn't bring down a Paladin, but it does bring down 15 and 15 of the sprites. That's 30 sprites that goes down. All of a sudden that investment feels, it kind of wrenches at your heart a little bit. It makes you pretty sad to see that. Again, it won't ruin your day, but it will give you some pause and you'll say to yourself, I wish that things could have been just a little bit different. There are 3 gold mines on this map that are more or less in our area. We have gotten one of those mines. Again, any amount of gold extra we can get could be useful. That's additional 2,000 gold per day. And we have been hurting for resources at this time. I would really like to see some sort of investment in getting those other gold mines. I do know that as you are moving troops to the front, like Winnymaru is doing right now, you are going to have to give up some things, right? You can't be everywhere all at once, and he is prioritizing pressuring the enemy over getting some of his adventure map cleared out. There's a whole swamp area in the middle of the map that he just hasn't touched. As he picks up the cathedral in Cathcart, I thought that it was going to be Lambo that was going to take the majority of the upgrades, and it looks like no. Okay, hold on. What? Look at his face. Winnymaru is like me and assuming that there's going to be some sort of guardian here on this gold mine, and he is thrilled to see that there is no problem here. He's going to waltz right in and take that gold mine. Another reason why having 8 heroes is better than having only 2 or 3 or 4 or 7. So, okay, great. Whoever designed this map, Carmine, has an aesthetic eye for beauty, and they also don't want you to have to struggle and grind for every single opportunity. And I gotta tell you, I kind of like that. I like big open wide maps where your heroes can go forth and feel useful at all times. We have only seen 2 red heroes on the map currently. I've seen Ranlu and I've seen 1 hero that's up by the Phoenixes. Maybe there was one more that I missed somewhere else, but for now, I think that we're only seeing 2 red enemies. Only 2 red enemies. There's got to be more, doesn't there? I mean, there simply has to be more. Where are the enemies? We've just picked up our 2nd cathedral, and I think that that's a great decision. Rather than going from the cathedral level 1, the unupgraded version, up to the upgraded version, I think you'd rather have 2 cathedrals that are downgraded than 1 that is upgraded, because you can always upgrade it later. You truly can. We see that obelisk, and that reminds us that, oh yes, we do know whereabouts the ultimate artifact is. We'll pick that up at some point, I am sure. We do have another hero in the water right now. That is Ector. Ector's going to go north. He's going to pick up a massive amount of treasure for us. No shipwreck survivors, only wood and gold. And what to do with Sarrakin here? Sarrakin has no artifacts. He has 1 boar. There is a lightning rod right there. It looks free. Do we land? Oh, look at that smile. Winnymaru knows that he has stumbled onto something. He has found 2 Sphinx, and that's pretty nifty. I wonder if he's going to step on the Sphinx. If he does, we're going to pause the game. I'm going to load up Carmine. I'm going to get to the point where I can go track down what those Sphinxes are saying, so that way we can discuss it ourselves. But very, very interesting. Once again, Madame Bledsoe was my high school French teacher. She would be very upset if she knew that right now I had to do the English version. Madame Bledsoe, with all my heart, I sincerely apologize for only being an average student. So, with that being said, this hero, with 3 genies, 18 swordsmen, 5 of the paladins, 21 of the rangers, and 2 of the crusaders, they are a good force, backed up by 5 attack, 7 defense, 3 of the spell power, 2 of the knowledge. We've got most of our spell points. We've got good morale. We've got excellent luck. This is a fight that we should be able to take, and more importantly, this is a force that should be able to move north and wreak havoc on anyone that comes our way. Shall we do so? I cannot say. I cannot say. It looks like we are eyeing these Medusa. Do we pick them up now? It's always tough because we've already purchased these troops, we've invested in these troops, and it's a little bit worrisome if you have to let go of somebody just to pick up the Medusa. There is a hero here that we are potentially going to take out. We've already seen Zam. This is going to be Zom. There's Zam, and here's Zom. One is blue, one is purple. We're going to take out Zom first, it appears. And he does not look to be particularly tough, but again, if there are some spells involved, that might change the tune of this map. We will have to wait and see. Very interesting. Winnymaru, sir, you have not upgraded your peasants field to take an extra additional 8 peasants per turn. Why is that, sir? Don't you think that would be the best tactical decision here? Don't you think it would be the best thing in your interests, in the interests of your viewers, to pick up an additional 16 peasants a week for the low cost of 2,000 gold? Don't you think that would be just really the thing that moves the needle and takes you one step closer to victory? Surely not. I'm guessing that Winnymaru knows better than to invest in the farm. Most of the horde buildings so named because they increase the amount of level 1 creatures that you can get in any one castle. He knows, I do believe, that the farm is the worst horde building of them all because 8 peasants doesn't do anything. 8 peasants does allow you to get an additional 30% of skeletons per week. That's an additional, what, 3 skeletons per week? Right? Like that's not bad. Probably closer to 2, isn't it? Whatever the case, I think that we know better than to pick up the farm. What do we see here? By the way, month 1, week 2, day 6. I have to tell you, one thing that I really admire about Winnymaru is that at this point, I would be playing at a faster pace. I would be very comfortable with the way that the map is going, and I would just speed things up a little bit as we look like we are going to potentially let go of Thundax. No, not yet. And I would play faster paced, and ultimately what that would do is that would cost me days. Winnymaru is going to complete this map much quicker than I would because he is being much more exact and particular in what he is doing to be successful. For example, he labored over that decision with Thundax. He weighed the odds, the pluses and minuses, and ultimately he made the decision that he wanted to let go of Thundax. And good decision, bad decision. He's doing it so he can pick up another hero here. It's not going to be a might or a magic-based hero. It will be Jacqueline the Barbarian, but he made a calculation there. I think that more importantly than playing fast of in real life game time is playing smart. And I think that Winnymaru is showing that he is making smart, purposeful decisions. Where he's going with this, I can't quite say just yet. We do have Vesper with his Chain Lightning. No, he does not have Chain Lightning because he's only got the basic wisdom. Vesper's heading north with the 45 of the Rangers, but what else will you do, sir? Is this simply to apply pressure? Are you going to try and take this castle? Maybe what Winnymaru is doing, maybe what he's doing is he is recognizing that his allies... Oh, hold on. We need to read this. Maybe he's trying to take that red castle by force before his green allies get it. Maybe he's trying to make sure that he can get everything he needs. Here, I totally forgot to attack it at the end of last turn. Which hero... Wait, hold on. Which hero did not attack? Oh, I see. Look. Winnymaru had just a little bit of movement points left over with Ambrose. He recognized his mistake afterwards. That is one of the dangers when you have multiple heroes that end their turns with a little bit of movement points left. And so now he's going to have to send Ambrose to the southeast to pursue Zom. So a little bit of a mistake, but you know what? Of all the mistakes you could have made, this one is easily fixed. It's going to take you maybe 2 days out of your way. 1 day south, 1 day to get back to where you were. Worse things have happened. And lest we forget, Ambrose does have the pathfinding, so he'll do better than some other heroes would have done. That could be very costly for others. For Ambrose, not so much. So, Winnymaru, no worries. I think that there's no issue with that. I think that you cannot get to this red castle before green. I think you're going to, unfortunately, have to let green take that red castle. But is it really bad? Is it really bad if your ally is doing well as you are? The idea being that maybe you split up your strength just a little bit? I think so. Looks like this is a nearby Titan that is guarding that thunder, that lightning rod. And that makes sense that you would not want to fight that. Are the Sphinx unavailable? That's a question for you. Are the Sphinx unavailable if you are playing it Heroes of Might and Magic in a different language on the FHeroes2 server? I don't know, actually. I don't know, but it appeared that he just clicked through that. Maybe the enemy already had gotten those Sphinx. Maybe the enemy can get Sphinx. I never considered that they could, but perhaps they can. There was one other genie lamp over there in the desert. I do think that Sarakin is being tracked down very quickly by a red enemy, though. They have seen him, and I think that they are in hot pursuit. We have taken the opportunity to take one more of these red castles. Second level Mage Guild. Winnymaru, I'm not sure what he was looking for, but he didn't get it. The blind is usually one of the priority second level spells, but against the undead, not very good because blind does not work against the undead. I think that a lightning bolt is actually probably the best spell you could have gotten in that second level Mage Guild. If I had to guess, I would think that that was actually a pretty good shot in the dark. Perhaps I'm wrong. And my hope is that Winnymaru will take the time to comment here at the bottom of this video and tell Phixfox where he got it wrong and provide some additional insights and give us the opportunity to see clearly into his mind. There are times where even the very best players can look at a fellow player's decision making and just misunderstand where they're coming from, which actually I think is a good thing about Heroes of Might and Magic. That means that there's multiple paths to victory. That means that there's multiple strategies that can work and will work. And so just because Phixfox thinks it might be one way, I'm always very interested to see where Winnymaru and I agree, and more importantly, where we disagree, because that's where Phixfox learns an awful lot. So Hector picked up the gauntlets, he picked up tons of gold, tons of wood, and now do we simply land or do we go through the whirlpool to the western side of the map? We simply let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And Hector's gone. Huh. I never want anyone to tell Phixfox ever again that he doesn't regard his heroes very highly. Compared to Winnymaru, I don't dismiss heroes this often. That's not true. I do. And I dismiss them for a good reason. In this case, letting go of Hector allowed us to pick up Atlas, and that allowed us to get some additional leverage in that swamp area. It might even make it so that that hero that was more or less pursuing Sarakin, it might mean that they will come back. And that might make it easier for Ambrose to ambush them. So, strategies all over the place. And let's be real, at this point, with 5 castles and an additional 2,000 gold per day coming in from gold mines, you've got the gold to spend on heroes. That's not a problem. It's really not. I wish I could spend a moment just to see exactly how tough our green forces are. Sir Gallant looks like he can defeat, or at least stand toe-to-toe with, any of these red heroes that we've seen so far. How true that is, I don't know, but if our ally is that tough, I mean, maybe we just let them fight and win some of these battles for us. Perhaps Vesper is going to soften up this red castle. Maybe they're going to try and take it by force themselves. Not too sure. There's still plenty of map here in the swampy area that's not been explored. Xanadu, Ambrose could probably use the Xanadu by now. I believe he's level 9 or 10. Probably more, actually. He's probably like a level 11 or 12. But is there anything else in there? That's kind of difficult to say. Looks like it's going to be Jacqueline who's going to go for the dig. And hopefully she can find that ultimate artifact sooner rather than later. It'll be nice to know what is there. Month 1, week 2, day 7. We have 2 cathedrals. We have 8 heroes. We went right past the arena in both instances. I've called them the training grounds on at least 2 occasions. That is Heroes of Might and Magic 3. In Heroes of Might and Magic 2, it is called the arena. So that's my mistake. That's Phixfox's mistake. And it is going to be Serkin who goes down. 1 Lich versus 1 Boar. If you've got a spell... Do you have a spell? Oh, rats. Oh, rats. You just needed 25 hit points worth of damage. It's like the enemy knew. Yep, and Winnymaru says, Salud and bon voyage. So, off Serkin goes. I don't know if he actually had an artifact or something nice that he would want to keep for another hero or for another day. But all the same, it's really nice just to make sure that your heroes know that if they get into a sticky situation, you're not going to really make them suffer. You're going to allow them to run away and save their troops' lives. Looks like Ranlu is going to incur our wrath. If you're going to fight this fight, you need to fight it today because it's day 1. And if you end this turn with Vesper, then that castle is going to be filled with more than simply royal mummies. I think you have to fight this fight. I think that with the spells, you're going to plan on doing better. So it is going to be, it looks like 30 skeletons, 9 of the royal mummies, and a fistful, call it 8, of the mutant zombies. We've got Stone Skin, Curse, Cold Ray, Magic Arrow, Fireball, and a few other spells. What is going to be the very best for you? Cannot say. The damage is really going to matter here. With only 20 spell points, we're going to kill 7 of the skeletons and 1 of the royal mummies. The haste goes down on the skeletons. The mummies do get stuck in their own moat. What a bad situation for the mummies. Of course, note what Winnymaru did. Winnymaru sent his gargoyle, his one single 6-speed gargoyle, right in front of the moat. And if the gargoyle is standing where the gate would fall, then the bridge is out. And the gargoyle survives for 1 turn longer, which is actually really nice. Because it survived, that's going to keep the enemies in the castle for longer. You're still going to have to deal with left turret, right turret, and the main Bastille. But still, this could be worse. We're going to do half damage through the wall on these skeletons. I hope that we devote at least 8 of these rangers to killing that 1 royal mummy. I would hate... Oh, maybe I wouldn't. Phixfox thought for a second that maybe you might want to keep the gargoyle alive. I was worried that he was going to lose some hit points. It looks like that's not going to be too big of a deal, actually. Now that I look at this, yeah, that's going to be fine. Hopefully we can finish up this fight in 1 turn. Down to 3 mutant zombies, down to 2. Down to 1. Down to 1. Oh, and there's pretty heavy losses every single extra round of combat. Can't kill this skeleton up top. You've got 10 hit points, though. Might as well give it a shot. 1 attack and then 1 retaliation. That should kill that skeleton, and then this should end the fight for you. And really, it looks like Ranlu did not have too many spell points. That could have been the difference between a win and a loss. Yeah! Yeah, I see you. I'm celebrating with you, sir. And you're going to pick up the Advanced Wisdom. Advanced Wisdom is so good here. It might be time. I think it is. I think it's time to switch gears and let go of at least the gargoyles and just pick up as many of these necromancy troops as possible. I think that makes sense. I might not get the mausoleum. I think that I would send my hero that now has the Advanced Wisdom. I would probably personally send Vesper back to pick up the Chain Lightning. I think the Chain Lightning is just that good. Will he do it? Maybe. Will he not? I don't know. It's up to him. maybe he continues to push on into the center. Maybe he allows green to deal with the red heroes that have started to make their way towards the center of the map. The nice thing is that I don't feel like we have to be overly aggressive here. I think that at this point, you try and play smart and play well rather than take risks. There's a time to take risks and there's a time to just play things cool. And I think that Winnymaru is recognizing that he can play things cool and just roll with his normal advantage. And the longer the map goes from this point with, it looks like 6 castles, the better he'll do. I do like, by the way, that he was hoping that he could use, as we pick up, it looks like the advanced leadership, that he was trying to use, I believe it's Atlas, to go and get that genie lamp before the enemies did. There's a strong possibility that they are going to cause some issues. It looks like Winnymaru is regretting going in this direction. I think that he realized that he did not mean to put himself in the path of these ghosts. He does not actually want to fight these ghosts. He's saying, wait 1 second, hold on. How do I mount my defense successfully here? He is going to invest in a turret. He's going to invest in a hero who has got advanced wisdom. Either way, whichever one of these wizards you take, it's going to work out just fine. He is going to let go of the orcs. I think that that's a good decision. You might as well keep the halflings. You might as well keep the boars. You might as well pick up all of these undead troops. 18,000 gold down to about 5,500. What do you purchase with what's left? Looks like you're going to get all of the troops here with 900 gold remaining. This is a really nice fighting force. And he's deciding, do I keep the halflings? Do I keep the wizards? No. Leaves the halflings, or rather dismisses the halflings, keeps the boars. Nothing. Where could it be? And now he's waiting with his troops in that castle. Very interesting. Okay. I don't hate those decisions at all. More than anything, rather than move out of the castle and maybe have the enemy sneak in behind you and take that chain lightning, it's best just to defend. Again, that's the difference between swinging for the fences and trying to be aggressive versus being smart and safe. Smart and safe right now is going to win Winnymaru this game. Okay. Castles in the bottom left, castle in the bottom middle. And there are by now, I mean, how many paladins or how many crusaders are there? I'm guessing that you've got at least, what do you have? Probably 8? More? 12? 8 or 12 of the paladins in each castle. Crusaders are good. Red has still not shown me that they have an army big enough to make me take them seriously. I think that it might be worth it to send your forces north just as currently constituted without trying to spend gold on the upgraded crusaders. Yeah, I think that you should probably just kind of push north and try to finish these guys off. Green is running away. Okay, green doesn't want to fight red. Thanks, green. You had one job. Red does pick up that genie lamp. Yep, I see that. So somewhere between 1 to 4. A genie lamp can have 1 genie in it. It could have 2, it could have 3, it could have 4. So you never know exactly what you'll get with the genie lamp until you're right on top of it. Oh, and I really do want to see that really quickly, actually. Hold on. Give Phixfox just half of a second here. We're going to go back into the castle. We are going to step on our Thieves Guild here. And so it looks like it's going to be Jezebel the Barbarian is actually going to be green's toughest hero. We are blue. Green is our ally. And then red, or rouge, is going to be Zom the Necromancer. He is going to be their toughest hero. 1 attack, 1 defense, 6 spell power, and 3 of the knowledge. And red is not leading in any category. We've got the most castles. Even green has more castles than red. There is 1 red castle remaining on this map. There's 1 red castle remaining on this map. This tells me that we should press our advantage as much as possible and root out evil wherever we can find it. Let the day break and let it drive out the darkness. That sounds good. I don't know if, I mean, it sounds good. I just don't know if it came off as being an epic saying or not. Either way, we are going to dismiss Atlas. Are we going to purchase troops and send them north with a hero? Okay, we're looking at maybe picking up sprites, maybe picking up Medusa. Surely you're not going to go through those ghosts. Nope, we're not going to go through the ghosts. I think that with a hero that has the advanced wisdom, you've got chain lightning and 4 spell power. I think that you fight that fight, I think you win. And if you lose, you lose. But then green should be left over. Yes, but then green should be left over and they should be able to pick up the pieces. Let your ally do something good for you. Do we upgrade any of these troops? I don't think that you want the vampires here. You could get them, but I think you'd prefer to upgrade either the zombies or the liches. It looks like it's going to be the zombies. From zombies to mutant zombies. Good choice. Not a bad choice. No other purchases to make. And oh boy. Oh buddy. Let's fight this fight. This actually feels like one of the bigger fights. There's 2 red heroes in this area. As we definitely defeat these foes, there's 2 red heroes here in the middle. And if we beat them, I don't think that there's much left on this map. I might have chain lightninged starting with the royal mummies. There's so many hit points worth of royal mummies there. Chain lightning being cast on one single lich. I mean, it's all right. I'm just saying, it's all right. Not what I would have done, but I think that there's a good chance that what Winnymaru is doing right now is what Phixfox would have done probably like 20 minutes ago, and he is speeding up the game. He's playing at a faster pace, and when you know that the game is wrapping up quickly, you don't need to be exact and precise in every single moment. I hope that he takes no offense when I say that, because hey, at this point, this is over an hour worth of playthrough here. I think that it is reasonable for Heroes of Might and Magic players to get a little bit fatigued at some point. And so, yeah, I think it's more than reasonable. I think it's expected that after an hour of play, there's going to be just a little bit of questionable decision making. I'm sorry, I can't get around the fact that we dropped like 500 damage from the first stack of chain lightning onto one single lich. Suffice to say, that one single lich is dead. he's more than dead. He is super dead. We already talked about how the necromancers are already dead and then they get super dead. Yeah, he was super extra dead. And so maybe what this actually was Winnymaru doing an absolute flex. He just decided to tell his enemies, oh, you think you're strong? That's cute. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I that's how I'd prefer to play. I can't tell you how many matches I have personally ended, how many scenarios I have personally ended, not with some tactical, strategic, perfect strategy or decisive blow, but an Armageddon. It seems like the best way to absolutely ruin your opponent's day, just to make sure that they knew that they were never going to get out of here alive and that the deck was always stacked against them from the beginning. You can see the adventure map in the upper right. We're not going to go to the freeze frame here, but we have even more of the map controlled than before. We have one red hero in the center of the map. Green could probably defeat red by themselves at this point. Winnymaru has really carried his ally to victory here. Green did some good things. Green did not win this scenario for Winnymaru. They did all right, but they didn't win the scenario for them. Couple of good things to note here. There are still plenty of opportunities on this adventure map. I think that one of the strengths that Winnymaru is displaying in this playthrough is a good sense of priorities. It's not always in your best interest to pick up every single sulfur mine, every single clump of sulfur, every single dwelling, and so on and so forth. Sometimes you have to be a little bit choosy with your movement points, and you have to make sure that this is actually going to get you closer to your goal of winning. It looks really nice when you clear the entire map and you get every single advantage, sure. But obviously, if you had done that, we would have had a lot longer of a scenario and many more issues for Winnymaru to overcome. So good use of his prioritizing in order to make sure that his enemies were always losing with every single choice he made. Even if that meant giving some peace to some of the other adventuring, wandering creatures. There is one enemy in the water. Winnymaru, as you could see his face just a moment ago, he was not thrilled about that. Understandable. I think he's thinking that that might make the scenario go even longer for him. Where will this enemy land with those genies and that one lich? If they land on the far side through the whirlpool, that's not good. If they land on this side, well, that's not good either. It may be that you can keep them at sea for 7 days after you take their castle. Unlikely, but possible. Regardless, they will be forced to land sooner rather than later, because again, I do believe that this map is cleaning up very, very quickly. Other strengths that Winnymaru has displayed so far, I do think that his battle, his command in combat has been very excellent. I've not seen anything that I would have thought would have been a bad decision. And I feel bad because the one thing that maybe I could nitpick was that massive chain lightning on that one single lich. If that's the worst you do, you're doing fine. No, he's done an excellent job actually in combat. And combat is a huge part of the Heroes of Might and Magic series. But then he's also done a great job logistically on the adventure map. And you really have to leverage what you find on the adventure map, and you have to leverage your logistics on the adventure map to a real win. Simply being good at battles is not enough, as we are just one step away from this red hero here, Darlena. And so I think that he's really pulled together a very complete scenario here. I think he should be very happy with the way that this scenario has gone on for him. It looks like 16 skeletons is going to have to mount a successful defense here by themselves. Worth noting that the hero in hot pursuit, Vesper, doesn't have a lot of spell points left, by the way. We do dismiss one more hero, I assume, so we can hire another one here. We do. It's going to be Roxana? No, we're going to take Kalindra. Interesting. So Kalindra is going to take the shield, the magic arrow, a left turret. She's going to combine forces here. Splitting up the skeletons, splitting up the boars. 3 stacks of boars, 1 in each. 1 stack of skeletons, 1 stack of halflings, not too bad. Where is it? I really feel bad. I feel like Winnymaru was saying to himself, it's got to be right here. And it does. He's probably stepped on the square that holds the ultimate artifact at least once. And Winnymaru is saying, come on, I'm trying to finish this scenario. And then we have Zam wandering in places that he ought not to go. I think that he lost his lich in the whirlpool, by the way. I think I just saw 3 stacks of genies and no liches. Perhaps I was wrong. Maybe I missed that, but I think that we're not going to have to worry about Zom too much. 3 genies is not bad, but it's not going to be enough to stop any of these forces. Again, Sarakin, Vesper, I guess it's Sarakin who cast that most recent Chain Lightning. Sarakin does not have enough spell points to cast another Chain Lightning. That might be for the best. That'll prevent him from hurting his own troops. There's one more castle in the upper right. Winnymaru, there has to be one more castle in the upper right, doesn't there? Doesn't there have to be one more? Has Phixfox lost his marbles? Have I lost the thread? Is this all the castles that remain? Are we running out the clock? Are we trying to chase down these 2 heroes? Phixfox might be wrong here. It's yeah, except those losses, absolutely. It might be that this is the very last red hero, and I just didn't realize it. If that's the case, then I will be especially sad for Winnymaru, because he was on a pretty good pace to win this scenario. And of course, having a couple of squirrely heroes get away from you that you have to track down for 7 days, that does make it hard to claim an all-time world record or even a personal record. But still, very, very much so. We are quickly approaching the end. There is, looks like about 1 minute to go. 1 minute and 8 seconds. If you've held on for this long, folks, hold on to your seats, hold on to your hats. We have to see fireworks in about the next 55 seconds. There's nothing else for it. This has to be a win or a devastating loss. If Winnymaru loses at this point in the next 1 minute, I'll be very shocked. That's very unlikely. Instead, I think it's going to be, this has to be the final hero. And this is a glorious victory. The 3 genies go down, and it is Red being defeated. That's it. He does the victory dance. Winnymaru does the victory dance. And that's going to be 20 days. Score of 288. He was on impossible difficulty. That's going to give him the rating of a black dragon. He's going to be putting in his name, and congratulations to Winnymaru. That actually is a very excellent score. Let's take a quick peek here. Let's look at this. He's got a 21-day score on Pandemonium, which is a very difficult task. And we loved that Winnymaru was kind enough to offer us the opportunity to do a Phixfox Shoutcast on his Pandemonium play. And so 21 days, magnifique, très magnifique. And then Carmine here, that is just a step behind that, but still all the same, very, very good. In fact, I do believe if Heroes 2 is much like Heroes of Might and Magic 3, getting the ultimate artifact could be a way to boost your score. I know in Heroes 3, my dad has told me, and my dad knows this, that the ultimate artifact, if you dig it up, the Holy Grail, it will improve your score. And so I'm wondering if, had we gotten lucky with that hero, Jacqueline, digging, and she had just picked up that artifact, I wonder if this would have been Winnymaru's all-time greatest score, not only in days, but also in score. It looks like a couple of other wonderful scores here as well. Alliance, Dungeon Below. Yes, yes. Good scores all the way around. And you got to give it to him. Got to give him the music. He's dancing. Look at him go. He's having a real good time. And I'm having a real good time as well. Folks, Winnymaru, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for the energy, Winnymaru. That was an absolute pleasure. Folks, if you are interested in being featured in Phixfox Shoutcast, look at the link in the description. Look after you, look after your friends, look after your family, and please go check out Winnymaru. It's my pleasure to bring to you Phixfox Shoutcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you again, Winnymaru. What a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. Take care.